Gal is on with us now. What are you saying, brother? Massive news, my man.
Yeah, huge. This is what we were waiting for. We needed a striker. I'm very excited. You know something? I did not think it was going to take this long, but now I'm a little concerned that he might not get to go on. I was getting concerned he wasn't going to get to go on the preseason tour. Hopefully, he now gets to go meet up with these guys for preseason. Hopefully, we get to see him through the door. And guess what? You guys were saying Victor Gyökeres was going to be playing at Old Trafford. I guess he will be at the first day of the season, most likely. Now that we're going to be facing you guys on the first day of the season. Hey, don't worry. You can always go and get somebody else. He might not turn out to be a better player if you get Sesko. You never know. But at this moment in time, I'm excited. We got exactly who I wanted, and Andrea Berta has come in, and first thing he's done is he's been able to change and pivot the whole transfer plans from Sesko to Gyökeres to the guy that he wanted when he walked in through the door, and I'm quite excited, man. Look at that, 97 goals, 27 assists in the last 102 games for Sporting. Unbelievable.
Yeah,
Better return.
Crazy. Sorry, go on.
Better return than Alexander Isak for his country. Better return in the Champions League than Isak also. When people say, oh, he's not going to work in the league. So I'm very excited. And all the people who had concerns, including myself, I'll just say this. Hopefully he comes in and smashes it and he tells everyone to shut their mouth. And this is exactly who I wanted. I never wanted Sesko over Gyökeres. I always wanted Gyökeres.
Yeah, look, I always thought Benjamin Šeško would be a good signing for you. I never changed my mind on that. We're looking at him now. It would not be beyond football to give us Man United Arsenal on the opening day of the season with Šeško and Gyökeres facing each other. I'm very open-minded to that actually happening. I know we've said today that we're not actively looking because the price is too much, but I'm not buying into that story. But I agree with you, Igal. This is a transformative statement signing. One that you've needed for a couple of seasons now. It removes all the debate around Arteta. Deliver, start winning trophies. You've got the striker, you've got decent backup strikers, you've got Saka, you've got a midfield that's excellent. And I still think you're going to buy more. Fabrizio is still saying this isn't it for Arsenal. There is more to come. I think there's a bit of public negotiations going on at the moment with the whole calling talks when it comes to Eze and others. That's because you're trying to sell and clubs obviously want to stripe you up on price. So the next sort of 5-6 weeks of this window, remember there's 5 to 6 weeks of the window to go. And Arsenal already have Zubimendi, they've got Madueke, they've got Norgard, they've got Kepa, they've got Mascara, they've got 6 new signings. And there's still 5 to 6 weeks to go with no exits yet. And no one's done any exits yet. And I think the exits come and then you see more signings because Arsenal, Liverpool, City, United. No one sold anyone yet. Well, United have got Rashford gone, but that's
Madueke.
Madueke from Chelsea. Actually, that's true because obviously you went and bought him. But there's been very little done in that regard. And I think you guys are now look at Trossards and maybe a few others and go, who can we move on? And then let's go and execute somewhere else. But I don't think you're done yet.
Terry, we want more. Don't call me greedy. We want more because we're not done. There's still massive holes in this team, and that is somebody who could assist in the left flank and raise our levels, and also potentially help out with in the 10 in the midfield. And that to me is Eberechi Eze. I know Xavi Simon's linked to us. I know Rodrigo's linked to us. I think it's more unlikely that we go for Rodrigo at this moment in time until we get sales. But if we can bring in Eberechi Eze, who's on a release clause, who has a reasonable release clause with payment structures. Crystal Palace know what they've put. They've given everyone a very realistic option in Eze. What is it? 23 million over 3 years. That is a really good payment structure for Arsenal, and it would help us this window. Plus, won't make us spend too much money over the next couple of windows, paying 23 million for Eze over 3 years. We should do that. And if we bring in Eze, that will make this window for me one of our best windows of all time, in my lifetime at least, where we've brought in 3 extremely good level raisers and multiple squad players to raise the level of the squad, where we can now hopefully compete on all competitions. And we also now have the attack that can compete at the top level, because that's what we've been missing over the last couple of years.
I totally agree. And Dio has joined us as well now. You must be ecstatic with this deal.
I'm finally happy the deal is through. I mean, my fingers were crossed that it would happen. That's the truth. I was hoping that it wouldn't break down, and I'm glad it's gone through. Igal, what's up, man? Sorry, my brother. How you been? It's been a minute. Congratulations again, by the way. I hadn't gotten the chance to tell you that 101.
Don't worry about me, man. Speak about Gyökeres. We're good.
No. So yeah, so I'm happy. Again, like I said,
Forget about the baby. Just speak about football.
I've said this earlier before. I think that the thing for me that was lacking last season was three things. Majorly, number one is we didn't have a striker. Number two is squad depth, and number three was in-game management. And we've addressed the striker. We're addressing squad depth. We brought in 6 new players. We still have players that have not exited. So for me, they're surplus to engagement. If anything, if they don't leave, they're surplus. If I'm going to have Norgard as my second DM and somebody else come in as the third DM, if I'm going to have Kyrgios and Mosquera on the bench, I'm happy to have them on the bench. If Kyrgios can leave, fine. If I'm going to have Zinchenko as my fourth left back, I'm happy to have Zinchenko as my fourth left back. Squad depth was a thing for us last season where we had to start playing Mikel Merino as a striker. So for me, key thing is addressing the squad depth. Now, in-game management is now on Mikel Arteta. That's my third issue from last season, but I have to give him a little bit of kudos because using Mikel Merino as a striker last season when you didn't have one, figuring out a way to kind of like, just at least stay in the race. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was annoying that we didn't win anything, but just staying in the race for me was a good job. But Gyökeres, I think 97 goals in 102 games in his last 102 games for Sporting across all competitions. So I don't like it when people just say, oh, he plays in Portugal. What about the Champions League? He scored in the Champions League against top teams. So, if that's something that we've lacked and we now have it, let's see how that works out. So, yeah, it should be it's going to be a tough season, though. It's going to be a tough season.
It's going to be. I think it's going to be an amazing season. I think overall, I didn't see Igal went. I didn't have my screen up for a minute. Thank you, Igal. I think it's going to be an absolutely phenomenal football season overall. I think it's going to be amazing. Maybe not as a Man United fan, but we'll see what else we do in the window.
No. Let's not do that with Man U. Like, I think people are sleeping on Man U, and I've said this again. I'm going to say this again. Tottenham and Man U are two teams that people are sleeping on. People don't want to. Let's accept the fact that Thomas Frank is a good manager. We all know this. He now has more resources. He's a manager that can play very tactical football and counter football. And now he's got players like Kudus and Gibbs White and all these guys coming to Tottenham, adding to the squad. They still have Madison. They still have all these people. But looking at United, you just signed Mbeumo. You already have a Cunha on the team. And you do have a manager that I think with the right pieces, you guys can also do something. So it's going to be a tough season. Again, let's not forget, there are going to be clubs that are going to come out of the woodworks like Nottingham Forest did last season. There'll be clubs like that, and then there's the Brightons and so it's going to be tough. It's going to be
that is very true. And I just think the big boys that are in the title race, yourselves, City, Liverpool especially, you've all just done such fantastic business already. It can't not be a brilliant season in my opinion. I'm very, very excited about it. Albert's joined us here as well. Now, what are you saying, Albert?
Today was one of those days I woke up in a really bad mood because of this endless back and forth with the Sporting president. I was actually in my head, I was like, they can go now. I think we need to do something extra. Maybe just pull out and say the player can just, cancel his contract by himself and come with that. It was really frustrating me. I can't lie to you. And then it happens a few hours later. I'm very happy about it, obviously. Now it's just Eze. I'm very okay missing out on Rodrigo or any other extra wingers, but Eze has to come in, or I don't even know who's the equivalent. I think he's perfect to give Odegaard that run for his money because we need that creativity there or something different, a more direct player, faster, more physical player in that spot. If we get Eze, I'm going to say it here that we can win it. It will be with Liverpool, but we win it.
Can I just say this? I think a lot of Arsenal fans, and I appreciate the fact that Eze is an amazing player, and the left side is something that we can talk about as well. But I think we like to kick the can down the line a lot, and we like to move the goalposts. Just last season, a lot of Arsenal fans said, if we had a striker, we win the league. If we had a striker, we win the league. This was the talk. Nobody talked about the left side. Nobody talked about defensive midfield. Nobody said anything. If we keep Thomas Partey this season, we win the league. We bring in the player that I think is, I think not. I won't say Miles, but better than Thomas Partey, younger, a little more controlling in the midfield. Somebody who's a better metronome than he is in Zubi Mendy, and you bring in an experienced Noga to replace a Jorginho as well, and then you bring in a striker that we've all complained about, and more players for depth. Mosquera in defense, a goalkeeper that is not cup tied, that we know that can play in any of the other cups, which is a Premier League goalkeeper. And now it's like, oh, if we don't get Eze, it's a 6 out of 10 window. And I'm hearing this, and I'm just like, hold on, Eze was not your target last. I know, not you. I'm saying generally, like I'm talking in the general sense. It's like, for me, once we address an issue, Arsenal fans create a new issue that we want to just be the center of. Okay, if we don't get Eze, then it's like, you know what? If we get Eze, great stuff. I think it takes us levels up. It takes us at least one level up on that left side. But even if we don't get Eze and we get a Xavi Simons, it gives us a different caliber of player on that same side. All I'm saying is I'm appreciative of the fact that the sporting director, Andrea Betta, is actually shoring up the team in those positions with either better players or more competitive players. A Madueke on the right-hand side with Bukayo Saka, where when Saka can rest, gives you the similar profile, left-footed right-wing player. Right, might not be the same style, but same profile, which allows the team to play. So for me, yes, the left side we need to address it, but I'm not going to kill myself if we don't have the left side. Honestly speaking,
but the thing is, as far as I'm concerned, it's because everybody else has done just that little extra. There's no running away from it. I mean, Liverpool are basically, they just went bonkers, and we can't pretend that depth will not come crucial, because we are chasing 3 different trophies at the very least, and there's no slacking.
I hear
there's
you.
No slacking. You can't say that I can play FA Cup a weaker team, or no. Everybody's going hard for the trophies.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. I'm saying the team we have now, even if you break them down to first 11 and minus the AZ, because I don't like to talk about players who have not arrived. This is why you will not see me talk about Gyökeres up until today. I don't talk about players until I am dead sure like you are in the club. So minus AZ this season, am I still able to play a strong team with a Kai Havertz playing in 9 and resting Gyökeres in the FA Cup? Yes. Am I still able to play a strong team with Martinelli playing? Yes, I can. In the
I hear you, Doug. I've got to jump in for a minute because I've got another stream.